Hi, Glenna. Thanks for taking the time to come to talk to us. And how did you hear about me?
Actually, I found you online. I had been suffering with a shoulder and arm disability to the point where I couldn't dress myself very well. And I finally, after a whole tube of Emil gel that took about 3 months to use up and no difference, I went online and looked at shoulder, arm pain and treatments, and it kept coming up Shockwave, Shockwave, Shockwave. So the next thing I did was Lethbridge, Shockwave, and your name came up, and you were the only one.
There I was.
There you were.
Well,
yes.
I'm glad that it was that easy to find for you. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like day to day with the shoulder pain?
There were a lot of things I couldn't do very well, and I was really frustrated. For instance, when you unload the dishwasher and you put the plates up in the cupboard, I'd always been able to do it right-handed with the other hand steadying, and now I had to do it left hand because the right hand wouldn't lift as far.
Mm-hmm.
So I was one plate at a time instead of a stack. I love to knit. I've been knitting for about 50 years, and I couldn't do that anymore unless I pinned my arm down and used the other hand for all of the motion,
Mm-hmm.
which is very clumsy, to be honest with you. Golfing was just about out of the question, and I love to go with my grandson.
Yeah.
And he's just beginning, and of course he can beat me, but he's
Yeah.
beginning, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
So that's
why I
not
came.
nice. That's not a nice thing, right? You're
No.
starting to lose the enjoyment out of
Yep.
life. And was it also painful to put the plates up?
Very much so,
Very
very
much
much so. There was a lot of pain from elbow to shoulder
Mhm.
all the way, and not always in the same place, but you could tell which kind of group of muscles or whatever it was that was bothered by it.
And was this condition sort of plateaued, or was it getting a little bit worse as time went by?
It got worse.
It was
At the
getting worse.
beginning I could manage it, and I could manage it with some painkillers and maybe icing or the heating pad at night, those kinds of things. But at the point where I found you online, my daughter had to help me put my coat on. I couldn't
Okay.
do that anymore.
Yeah.
It was just too painful.
That gets in the way of independence, doesn't it?
Very much so, very much so.
So how are things better now since you've gone through the shockwave therapy?
There's still, now and then, there's a little twinge,
Mhm.
you know, maybe I've overreached or gone back too far, but I have almost perfect mobility as far as the shoulder and the arm go.
Yeah.
And as far as strength, I can reach to the top cupboard to get the, whatever down that I need.
Yeah.
And I'm very right-handed, and it just feels good to have that back.
And have you tried golfing?
Mm-hmm. To my chagrin, yes.
Okay. Well, we won't talk about the scores.
And it's not the shoulder's fault.
Won't talk about the scores, yeah. But you were able to get back out there and
Absolutely.
do it. And
Absolutely.
like more than once? Have you been a few times?
I've been a couple of times.
A couple
yeah.
times, good.
Mhm, mhm.
And does it feel like golfing is not an option for you, or you feel
Oh,
like...
I'm right back in it.
You're right back in
I'm
it.
just out of practice.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, because it's really important to me to see my patients get back to the life that they love. And we're not about restricting people. We're trying to give them a little bit more of an abundant life.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to hear that you are getting that. And thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, you're very welcome.